computer. All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome. I am Christina Campbell, and this particular class on the endocrine system was originally created and developed by myself, Christina Campbell, and Pamela Hyen. We taught this many years ago. We've since updated it, to keep up with the times. But I will warn you, there's a warning that goes with this class. And that warning is we dive deep. Hormones is a very complicated subject. And so many things integrate into what gives us healthy or unhealthy hormones. And so, you know that being a green personality that I am, I really like to dive deep into the details. If you are a blue person and you like to just have fun, sometimes you're just better off waiting until you see the oils and the supplements come up on your screen and forego all of the anatomy and physiology. It is such a complicated subject that I have chosen to break this up into two parts. I did many years ago because you can just get overwhelmed. And in this first part, I really talk about what is causing our hormones to be out of balance. I will also talk about, as we age, what happens to our hormones and what we need to do in order to stop or at least slow down dramatically the aging process. And I know for some of us who are over 60, this is something that is of great importance to us. So with no further ado, I'm going to get right into balancing hormones naturally, talking about the endocrine system, and part one. Okay. So in part one, you're going to learn which organs make up the endocrine system, how the endocrine system functions and affects our overall health, why hormone testing is important. We're going to talk about hormone testing, how to support hormone production, how our environment plays a role in our endocrine health, why synthetic hormones are dangerous. I know that there are some of you that may be on synthetic hormones, and I'm going to offer you an alternative. Obviously, anything that you do is totally up to you, and it's your choice. And I'm not here to change your mind. I am only here to give you evidence, research, and personal testimonials so that you could make a better educated decision. And if that decision includes continuing with synthetic hormones, that is completely up to you. I am not a judge of who does what. I am only a messenger. We're going to talk about how to support the body throughout the stages of menopause in this first part as well. And that is near the end. So just hang in there, guys, because this is a good solid hour, if not more. So what is the endocrine system? It's actually a system of glands and organs. And these glands and organs secrete different types of hormones that circulate through the bloodstream. They do all kinds of things like regulate body activities, our behavior. That's why a lot of times during PMS time or even perimenopausal time, we have mood swings. We may not be able to sleep well. And it regulates other biological features. So the endocrine system includes the hypothalamus, which is in the center of the brain, along with the pituitary, which is in the center of the brain, the thyroid, the parathyroid. We're going to look at pictures of where those are and what they look like, just so that you can have a really great foundation and a better understanding. We're going to talk about the adrenals, which sit on top of the kidneys. So if you put your thumbs on your waist. Where your thumb is pretty much where your adrenals and your kidneys are sitting. I'm going to talk about the pancreas. If you put your right hand on the left side of your body, your pancreas hides beneath the rib cage. That's your pancreas. And we're going to talk about the testes and the ovaries. Not so much the testes tonight, because we're going to talk about more of male andropause and male hormones in part 2. So make sure that your husbands get on here, or your significant others, to get a better understanding of how male hormones affect us as well, especially in the later ages. Using a series of signaling, the glands create a communication network known as an axis. And not all organs that secrete hormones or hormone-like substances are actually considered part of the endocrine system, but we are going to look at those glands and organs that are considered a part of the endocrine system. Okay, so here you have a picture of the arteries, yes, and the bloodstream, and how hormones run through the bloodstream, and how they signal. Cells release signals that travel long distances to affect target cells. So endocrine cells affect target cells, and they send signals through the bloodstream. Circulates hormones throughout the body, influencing certain organs and tissues. Some hormones only affect 1 or 2 organs, where others have influence throughout the entire body. Hormones are the body's chemical messengers, and they are critical to maintaining vibrant health. A tiny amount of any hormone can result in big changes in the cells or even the whole body. And so that's why when we talk about birth control, a synthetic method of putting hormones into the bloodstream, this can cause issues. This can cause fibroids, cysts, and other things. So we're going to talk about some of those things tonight as well. Hormone and hormone testing. Hormones help with good brain function, in maintaining optimal body function, and they work to help keep us young. So that's why it's so important for us over 50 or 60 to really understand, or at a minimum, know what you should be doing for your body to help you keep the energy that you need, your skin supple, your the moisture in your skin, the moisture in your eyes, the avoidance of osteoporosis in later years. And we're going to go through all this stuff, and it all is an integral part of the endocrine system. Progesterone balances estrogen, giving us a feeling of well-being and a positive attitude. And one of the things I talk about when I talk about hormones is the misnomer of estrogen dominance. There is a misnomer that many women have estrogen dominance. The reason I say it's a misnomer is if you start out with a baseline of progesterone on my left hand and progesterone on my right hand, and they are in balance, and your progesterone goes out of balance. In other words, you don't have enough, you're not producing enough. Look where the estrogen is. The estrogen is dominant. It doesn't mean that you have too much estrogen. What it means is that you don't have enough progesterone. So when somebody is diagnosed with estrogen dominance and they're given synthetic hormones to eliminate the manufacturing of estrogen or eliminate estrogen, what you're doing is something extremely critical to the body in whole. And we're going to be talking about this more deeply. So just bear with us and just know that Estrogen dominance is not what you think it is. Progesterone and testosterone increase physical desire, and women need testosterone as well as men. So that's a misunderstanding too. Oh, I don't want testosterone because I'll grow a mustache or whatever. Testosterone gives us good muscle health. And we'll be talking about that. So it's important that if you do a hormone test, that you have good, healthy testosterone levels. And here it says right here, testosterone helps to build muscle and it helps to decrease fat. So we definitely want to make sure that we have good, healthy testosterone levels. Estrogen and testosterone can convert bad cholesterol, or LDL, to good cholesterol. So if your hormones are in balance, you won't deal with high triglycerides and bad LDL. This is important to understand. A lot of times, especially in a male's testosterone level drops after the age of 50. And that can be directly related to high triglycerides. So if you've got a guy in your life that has been given cholesterol lowering drugs, how do you know that, number one, that's what he needs when his hormones haven't been tested? And I will tell you that 99% of the time, they don't test the hormones. It's a completely separate test. It has nothing to do with testing your cholesterol and high blood pressure. And, you know, being a lay person, you don't know to ask the doctor, oh, by the way, I need my husband to get a hormone test as well. And your husband can die of heart disease because he had a hormone imbalance. But I will tell you, even some of the best endocrinologists in the country can tell you that hormones and this subject is very misunderstood across the board. So it's important to have your hormone levels tested by requesting a blood hormone panel. A hormone panel should be taken every week for 4 weeks to cover the complete cycle for best results, especially if you are still menstruating, because hormones fluctuate so much during that 4-week period. But if you're postmenopausal like myself, one blood test will be fine because we're pretty stabilized at this stage. So after the analysis, it's recommended that a hormone specialist evaluate the results and not a general practitioner. Find somebody who really knows and understands hormones. And I will tell you that the hormone tests across the board are not looking at the numbers that they should be looking at. If you're interested in getting a hormone test panel, just the panel, in other words, you go in and you tell your doctor, this is what I want to be tested for. And then once you're tested, you look at the range that's on this hormone panel as opposed to the national average range, you will be more accurate. This particular hormone panel, I believe in 100%. It was created and developed by Dr. Dan Purser, P-U-R-S-E-R. He was the formulator of Progessence Plus, which is a Young Living product, and has helped with the treatment of COVID patients since March here in the United States with, what is it called? Hydrochloroquine, am I saying that right? And zinc and vitamin C, which of course is now being touted as probably one of the best ways to not only prevent COVID, but it can get you back into health. And he is an MD. He has a website, Dr. Dan Purser. You can look him up. He also worked with Young Living for many years. What else did I want to say about that? Oh yeah, hydrochloroquine. So it's funny because now all of a sudden all these videos are coming out, and he's been recommending this since March, since COVID hit pretty rough. And so if you're taking our Super C, you should be taking it 3 times a day, 2 to 4 tablets of vitamin C. It's water soluble, it goes right through you. So you need to take vitamin C a lot throughout the day. And that's why we've had a vitamin C shortage, because the people who are in the know are taking this vitamin C, and they know that it's one of the best, and they're taking extra zinc and doing what they need to do to keep their immune system healthy. So what I write down here in my note is that standard blood tests are designed to only pick up the sickest 2.5% of the population. And individuals often suffer for years being told that their thyroid or their testosterone, somebody that is not on mute. So if you could mute yourself, if you are not on mute, let me find you.
In other words, I need to listen to this when it's on YouTube.
No, well, I'm just going to mute you. It's not a problem, Nancy. You can still hear me, but I'm just going to mute you. It's no big deal. You don't have to. I got you, honey. You're good. Okay, so yeah, you can keep listening. So I want you to take this to heart, this note, that the blood tests are only designed to pick up the sickest 2.5%. So, you know, somebody can come to me and get a Zyto, and I will tell them that they have thyroid problems, and they will say to me, I just had a blood panel done, and it says that my thyroid is fairly normal. And I will say, I'm here to tell you right now that you might come into the normal ranges for standard blood tests, but if you don't take care of this now, you are apt to have major thyroid problems in the future. So that's why, and I trust the Zyto 100%. If you know anyone that does the Zyto, and I do Zytos as well, make sure that you're getting a Zyto once every 90 days for prevention, and you're finding out if, you know, your hormones are out of balance or what you need to be taking to make sure that they don't go out of balance. Okay, so moving on. Supporting hormone production. The very first thing that you need to consider when supporting normal, balanced hormone production, and this is really important for you to understand, is that you need to have a liver cleanse, because nothing in the bloodstream can be balanced if the blood is not being filtered and cleaned the way that it needs to be, because your liver is compromised. So we start at first with our liver and getting it in as optimal condition as we possibly can. And I'm telling you that this can only be a good thing. Cleaning the colon, cleaning the liver, cleansing on a regular basis. This is what we need to do in order to keep our health where it needs to be. Body detoxification, the cleansing the liver will help the pancreas with its production of glucose, and the liver storing that glucose properly, instead of too much glucose being dumped into the bloodstream, thus causing a pre-diabetic situation. Catch this. Do these things now. Take this stuff seriously. And we want to make sure that we have good digestive health. So you know that I've always talked about, and you can always go back and watch my detox video on YouTube, but I've always talked about cleansing the colon first, because you don't want to dump a dirty liver into an already dirty colon. Cleansing the colon next. And then you may want to do a parasite cleanse or a blood cleanse with Rehemagen. And all of this is in your EODR, in your essential oils desk reference. But I expand on it in my teaching, because I'm very, very um, familiar with cleansing. I just finished a 15-day master cleanse, and I believe Jillian is on here as well, and she just finished a 15-day master cleanse. And I know I'm going back on a master cleanse on the 21st of August. So if you have questions about that, or you want to talk about that with me, you can call me anytime. Call me, email me, text me. This is what I do. I enjoy guiding you to better health. That's just what I do. So apply JuvaCleanse over the liver, on the kidney and liver VitaFlex points on the bottom of the feet. And it's also beneficial when used with the raindrop technique. If you're getting a raindrop, say once every other month, which is a good health procedure. But also you can take 1 capsule 2 times a day. This is especially effective for those who have been diagnosed with hepatitis C. This will bring those enzyme levels down dramatically. If you have a fatty liver, if you have a non-alcoholic related fatty liver, if you have liver problems at all, taking capsules of JuvaCleanse on a regular basis is a must, an absolute must for a healthy liver. Okay, so what else? I said supporting the digestive system is important for supporting hormone production. So Essential Zyme 4, which has been back in stock now recently, which is a multi-spectrum enzyme complex, ensures successful hormone therapy for both men and women. And Essential Zyme. Now, I will tell you that if I had a choice between Essential Zyme and Essential Zyme 4, I would choose Essential Zyme hands down, without a doubt, every time. The reason I take Essential Zyme 4, or the reason I buy them, because I buy both, is I love the convenience of the blister packs of the Essential Zyme 4. And, you know, we don't go out to eat very often, but I keep a blister pack in my pocketbook. It's easy to carry because it's very flat and discreet. And I can pop 2 of those at a meal. It's important that you take your enzymes for digesting that meal. Essential Zyme, though, is really, it's the big kahuna. It really does. It's general purpose. And in Gary's cancer protocols, he always used Essential Zyme, ramping up with Essential Zyme. And if you're ever wanting any of Gary's cancer protocols, we have them all, you know, on our hard drives, so that we can hand them to people if they're needing it. And part of that protocol is the Essential Zyme Ramp program. Okay, so going back to the liver and cleansing the liver, ICP and JuvaPower are both supplements, if you will, that help to keep the liver healthy. I do JuvaPower every day in my smoothie. I do a good tablespoon of JuvaPower every day in my smoothie. You can't even tell that it's in there. ICP increases fiber to enhance normal bowel function and aid in the removal of toxins in the body, as does Comfort Tone. So acid-binding foods assist our bodies to achieve a more alkaline state, and JuvaPower are acid-binding foods. JuvaPower is predominantly made up of spinach and beets. Spinach and beets. And remember, I always teach that what you're taking when you take Young Living supplements is you are taking superfood. You are not taking isolates. You are not taking synthetic vitamins and minerals. You are taking superfood that will give your body the nutrition, the cleansing, the fiber, everything that you need. And so we should be taking this food on a daily basis, and spinach and beets bind acid in the blood. These foods attract the acid as they pass through the digestive system and then are eliminated, helping the body to achieve a more balanced pH level, and this is extremely important. Cancer cannot live in an alkaline body. Cancer thrives on sugar, which is acid. Other things that are acid are a heavy meat diet, acid coffee. And if you're going to do meat and coffee, and I'm not against eating meat, and I'm not against drinking coffee, but you have to balance these high acid foods with high alkaline foods. And Jua Power will help do that if you're taking a spoonful in your smoothie every day. Okay, so what causes endocrine imbalances? An overload of chemical toxins, which are found in the air we breathe, the food we eat, and the water we drink, and the products that we use daily. Hold on just a minute. I'm going to see if my husband will bring me a bottle of water. Kenneth, can you bring me some water, please? Pretty please, with sugar on top and something alkalizing as well. That was a joke. I hope he got it. Okay, so an overload of chemical toxins found in the air, the food, the water, and the products that we use daily are what get our hormones out of balance. Reducing your estrogen load is a key component that everyone should follow. And start in your home with the following. Wash your food well to rid it of pesticides. And I recommend that you wash your food with the Thieves Fruit and Veggie Cleaner. And the reason I say that is because it has digestive enzymes in that cleaner that digest these toxic chemicals that they spray our food with, you know, on the trees, you know, in shipment, whatever they're doing to our food. It's not going to reverse the genetically modified effects that our body is harmed from, but just attempt to get the most organic, pesticide, herbicide, fungicide-free food and non-genetically modified. Throw away all cosmetics that have toxic ingredients because these have estrogen dominant chemicals in them. What you want is estrogen-free cosmetics. And to make it easy for you to do, thank you so much. Oh, that's not a bottle of water. You didn't get it out of the faucet, did you?
No.
Okay, so it's out of the filter? Okay. Oh, and it's delicious. It's so cold. Oh, so we're making it really easy for you because Young Living has a whole line of cosmetics now to include liquid foundation, mascara, blush, you know, eyeliner, eyeshadow, lipstick. I have Young Living's lipstick on right now. Because I will not put chemicals on my skin because we absorb it. Anything that you put on your skin. If you're not willing to put it in your mouth, don't put it on your skin. Gary used to say that all the time. Don't use fabric softeners or perfumed laundry detergents. Use Thieves laundry soap. Make your own dryer fabric softener. Like what we use, you can use wool dryer balls with lavender on them. You can use, what we do is we take socks, and he cuts them into 4-inch squares, and then he soaks them in white vinegar. I think it's a half a cup of white vinegar to 10 4-inch square socks. And then he adds his favorite essential oil to it. And then he uses that as a dryer sheet. He puts 2 of those in the dryer, and then they freshen his clothes. And he's imbuing the clothes with the frequency of the essential oil. There are so many DIY recipes out there for fabric softeners and dryer sheets. Dryer sheets that you buy from the store, like Bounce, are one of the most toxic things you can put on your clothing. And if you put your clothing next to your skin, which that's where you wear it, or you sleep in sheets that have been chemicalized by Bounce, you absorb all those chemicals. And then, you know, think about your babies and the little ones. You know, they're absorbing those chemicals as well. Use only naturally based perfumes like essential oils. Most perfumes are petrochemically based. Have a good water filter. So you can get these chemicals out of your water system. This water came out of Karina's refrigerator. She has a filtered pitcher. I highly recommend Zero Water pitcher. You can get it from Target, Bed Bath & Beyond, and Walmart, and they're fairly inexpensive, but it is the #1 for getting out 100% of the particulates out of water. And you can test it. It has a tester with it, so it's called Zero Water Filter. Do not use plastic goods, since all plastic leaches estrogen into the environment, especially the thin, cheap plastics. Eat only organic-based whole foods. Avoid surfactants found in many condoms and diaphragm gels. Do not microwave food in plastic containers, and especially avoid the use of plastic wrap to cover food while microwaving. Those are just some rules of thumb. So here are some endocrine disrupting substances, or EDSs. Chemicals have a molecular structure that binds with receptors in the hormone secreting glands, thereby disrupting the normal hormone production process. Common endocrine disruptors studied include DDT, which is a banned pesticide that is still used in some African nations. PCBs that are present in electrical equipment and manufactured in third world nations. Dioxins, this is a byproduct from the production of paper, and it's found in the lining of cans used for preserving food. So preserve your own food or buy frozen vegetables. Avoid canned food when you can. Vinclozolin, this is a common fungicide used on fruits that doesn't wash away easily, and that's why we recommend the Thieves Fruit and Veggie Cleaner, because it will digest these chemicals. It actually breaks them down so that they can be washed off. And I even spray my own produce that I grow organically in my garden, like my green beans. When I go and pick them, I put a big basin of cold water. I put all my green beans in there. I put a capful of the fruit and veggie wash. I wash my green beans, and then I rinse them in a colander, because I believe that chemicals come from the air, like chemtrails from aircraft. People have actually been able to test the residue on leaves and plants where that stuff drops. And because I am so sensitive to chemicals, I want to get all of that residual chemical out of my food. Toluene is found in inks, glue, color coatings, and paints, and can cause reduced sperm count, infertility, testicular cancer, and reduced sexual behavior among middle-aged males. It reduces immunity, causes breast cancer, and the development of malignant melanomas among women. Endocrine disrupting substances. Here are some endocrine disruptor products. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Household Product Database has identified these as endocrine disruptors. And here is a list of toothpastes. You should be using Young Living toothpaste. I like the whitening toothpaste the best because it truly whitens my teeth. I love it. A lot of these toothpastes now have microbeads, which they have no idea the damage that they can cause in the bloodstream over long-term use. So Colgate, Total, Aquafresh, Crest, Gleam, Mentadent, Sensodyne, Ultrabright, and Viadent. Mouthwashes that are endocrine disruptors are Listerine, Scope, Viadent, and Crest. Use Young Living's Thieves mouthwash and get rid of the endocrine disruptors in your home. Endocrine disruptor products in the kitchen or in your bathroom are antibacterial dish, hand, and body soaps. Dial is the #1 endocrine disruptor. Soft soap, Dawn. Dawn is so bad. And Dawn is a heavy environmental polluter. And you know, because we know this, the Dawn company, which I can't remember what, if it's Johnson & Johnson and who makes Dawn, but they try to counteract it by showing you them washing little ducklings in Dawn after an oil spill. It's still an endocrine disruptor, it's still cancer causing, and it still pollutes the environment. It is a petrochemical, just like that oil spill. But they're trying to give you confidence that these chemical dish soaps are okay. Ajax, CVS, Lever 2000, these are bar soaps. Neutrogena, Clearasil, Clean and Clear, Suave. Now, Suave is a cheaper, less expensive product, but it is an endocrine disruptor. So are you going to swap price for your health? I would hope not. Olay and Aveeno. Many people have thought for years that Aveeno was a natural product. Read the label. Aveeno is not a natural product. They have tried to say that they are, but they're not. Other endocrine disruptor products are air fresheners and sanitizers like Glade 2-in-1, Glade plugins, Oust air sanitizer, Febreze, and Lysol. All of these not only cause lung damage or damage to the mucosal lining of the respiratory system, directly related to asthma and allergies, but they are endocrine disruptors as well. Here are a list of shampoos that are endocrine disruptors: Alberto Culver, Aussie Awesome, Dove, Head and Shoulders, Herbal Essences, Pantene Pro, Pert Plus, Suave, and Vidal Sassoon. Deodorants such as Right Guard, Old Spice Red Zone, High Endurance, Secret, Sure, Suave, and Ban. All of these are high endocrine disruptor products. Use Young Living shampoo. I've been using Young Living shampoo for over 17 years. I don't use anything else on my hair. I only use Young Living's deodorant, and I love the Mountain Mint. I love it. So there you go. Here is makeup. CoverGirl has been proven to be an endocrine disruptor, as is Avon. Body lotions, Vaseline Intensive Care, Jergens, Suave, Johnson & Johnson, and Baby Magic. All of these. And we put them on our infants. Give me a break. And the problem is that we're not aware. And so that's my job, is to make you aware. And once I make you aware, take the responsibility to teach your family members, teach your friends, people that you love. Share this video with them. It'll be on YouTube in 24 to 48 hours, so share it with them. Other endocrine disruptors, fabric softeners and detergents. Arm & Hammer, Bounce, Downy, Ace, Ultra, Ariel, Bold. I don't even know the name. I don't even know some of these products. I haven't used these products I haven't used anything like this in over 20 years. Clorox, of course, I've not used Clorox in over 36 years. Cheer, Yes, Dynamo, Dreft, Era, Fab, Gain. I know Gain is one of the worst. It's very inexpensive, and the perfume in Gain is just enough to make you sick to your stomach. Ivory Snow, Purex, Whisk, Woolite, and Tide. Tide is really bad as well. I'm going to shut this door. Okay, guys, sorry. Yeah, Karina's giving the kids a bath, and I could hear the water running. Okay, did I do this right? Page up? Okay. All right, so next, and estrogen dominance. Estrogen levels, this is the actual definition. Estrogen levels are normal, but your progesterone levels are low. That's what I was showing you early in this presentation. So they should be in balance, but we find that our progesterone levels drop, causing it to look as if we have estrogen dominance. Symptoms of estrogen dominance or low progesterone are hair loss. This is very important to identify. If you are losing your hair, it is estrogen dominance or thyroid issues in most cases. Breast cancer, sluggish metabolism, decreased sex drive, breast tenderness, foggy thinking, fatigue, irritability, insomnia, memory loss, mood swings, and osteoporosis. Water retention, bloating, acceleration of the aging process, cold hands and feet as a symptom of thyroid dysfunction. So we need to address the hormone balance, not the thyroid. Depression with anxiety or agitation, fat gain, especially around the abdomen, hips, and thighs, increased blood clotting, increasing the risk of strokes. From age 35 to 50, there is a 75% reduction in production of progesterone in the body, a 75% reduction. Estrogen is at its highest when you're pregnant. That's why they say, oh, she just has a glow about her. It is the youth hormone, and we want more of that. So I'm going to teach you how to get it. Common estrogen dominance conditions, if you've ever had fibrocystic breast disease, breast cancer, fibroids, endometriosis, polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, premenstrual syndrome, and PMS, premenopausal syndrome, and premenstrual syndrome, PMS. Recommendations for estrogen dominance syndrome. Support the pituitary. Oh, and I forgot to take ultra young spray out of there. We just need to support the pituitary. Sorry, guys. Okay, use Progestence Plus every single day. If you are a female from the age of 12 to 112, you need Progestence Plus. You need to either roll it onto the carotid artery, we're going to talk about this in depth, or you need to put it on a soft tissue, like under the arm tissue, between the thighs. I put mine on my forearm. It's a softer tissue, and I rub my forearms together, and I use it every single night. And I don't go without it. And I'm telling you, if you are between the ages of 12 and 112 and you are not using Progestence Plus, get it on your next order. Or if you have it, like, and this is what I've heard a lot of people, oh yeah, I have it, but I don't remember to take it. Well, put a rollerball on it. Number one, it'll make it easier. Number two, put it by your bedside table, because you want to do this at night, the last thing before you go to bed. You want, you know, you're going to put your oil in your diffuser. I have a habit every single night. I say, okay, honey, I'm going to bed. He says, okay, I'll be in a bit. And then I go in, I turn my nightlight on. Not my nightlight, but my bedside lamp. And then I make sure that my diffuser has water in it. I put my oils that I'm choosing for my diffuser. I fire up my diffuser. I take my Progestence Plus. I roll it all over my inside of my arms. I rub my arms together, and then I do clary sage. And we'll talk about clary sage in just a minute, because for us postmenopausal women, we do not have enough estrogen at all. And so we'll get things like vaginal dryness, dry eyes, dry skin. And clary sage, for me, is the best. Now, you might do better on sclerescence. That's why I like to recommend a Zyto, because it'll be specific to you. But if you don't have access to a Zyto, we can get you access to a Zyto. We actually send our cradles out across the nation, and you can get a Zyto for $60. or you can get, if you're a member of my organization, you get it free, or if you're not a member of my organization, I charge you $25. So that's one of the ways that you can see if you need clary sage or sclerescence, or you just try one or the other. Try one. See if within 2 weeks you don't have a difference in those symptoms that I just talked about. Feed the pancreas every day with your Ningxia Red. And if you can get Ocotea, and I think we have a limit of 2 bottles that we can purchase now, put that and frankincense in your Ningxia Red every day. And that will help with estrogen dominance as well. Clean the colon and the liver, like I explained earlier. Watch my detox video on YouTube, and just, you know, refresh your mind on how to get that liver and colon clean. Okay, let's talk a minute about, we got about 15 minutes left, about synthetic hormones and their dangers. Patented synthetic hormones are different biochemically from natural hormones found in plants and the human body, and their effects can literally be hazardous to your health. I was talking to somebody recently before I left home for this trip that they were on low doses of hormone replacement therapy, and I recommended that she get on this class and she learn a little bit more to make a more educated decision. Synthetic hormones are linked with higher risks of heart disease. There was a 33% increase in breast cancer when women use Premarin as a hormone replacement treatment. Premarin. So that was published, and you can do some Google research on Premarin and increase in breast cancer. It also increased heart disease in women dramatically. So you'll see a couple of other cancers from synthetic hormones: ovarian cancer and osteoporosis. So let's talk a minute about the pituitary gland. This is the master gland, and it's about the size of a pea. It weighs about a half a gram. It's located on the bottom of the hypothalamus and at the base of the brain. And you can see that little arrow there. And it rests in a small bony cavity. It helps to control blood pressure. It controls growth and development, and it promotes protein production. It controls reproductive functions, and it controls the secretion and production of hormones in the adrenal and thyroid glands. I want to talk about it for a minute because if you have ever had a traumatic head injury, to include as a teenager, maybe falling off a balance beam, hitting your head on concrete, maybe you were in an abusive relationship, maybe you were in a car accident and you had whiplash and your head hit something. Because that pituitary gland is housed in a bony structure and it has a very narrow neck and a bulbous head, the pituitary gland, it will actually hit the sides of that bony structure, causing damage to it and causing the hormones to go out of balance. If you have had any kind of head injury, again, car accident, falling from something, a blow to the head, you absolutely need to be on Progestins Plus, because this will feed a damaged pituitary gland. It also controls the secretion and production of hormones in the adrenals and the thyroid. So you may not have a thyroid issue and your hands and feet are cold and you've got a hair loss. It may be that you have a damaged pituitary gland. So be taking Progestins Plus. The hypothalamus, on the other hand, regulates key functions of the body. It controls the activity of your heart muscle and the smooth muscle of the body. It regulates emotional and behavioral patterns. It controls body temperature and regulates the 24-hour cycle in biochemical, physiological, or behavioral processes. So somebody cannot have good, healthy behavior processes, and it could be because of a faulty or non-functioning or low-functioning hypothalamus. It controls pituitary gland secretions. So you see how these are all interconnected? It responds to stimuli such as stress, pain, and emotions in our environment and internal systems. The pineal gland secretes the hormone melatonin, causes feelings of sleepiness, and regulates endocrine function. And again, the pituitary, the hypothalamus, all of this is in the middle of the brain. The pineal is in the center of the brain, near the lower part of the brain. Melatonin is the hormone of sleep. And the pineal gland produces melatonin only when it's dark. So people who are on swing shifts, make sure that you have a darkened room when you sleep. Sleeping in light will not produce melatonin. It regulates sleep, it boosts the immune system, it reduces anxiety, it scavengers free radicals and prevents DNA damage. It regulates the metabolism. The sleep essence is a natural melatonin. We don't believe in administering or recommending synthetic melatonin. This induces sleep. Sleep essence is very powerful because it has vetiver, which eases anxiety and alleviates stress. It also has valerian, which is effective for restlessness from nervous conditions. It has tangerine, which decongest the lymphatic system, and it has ruta. And ruta is actually harvested and distilled at Finca Botanica in Ecuador, our farms in Ecuador. And so when we were there in February, we saw huge piles of the ruta. It has sedative and antispasmodic qualities. Take 1 to 2 soft gel capsules 30 to 60 minutes before going to bed to help with sleep issues. ImmuPro also contains natural melatonin. It contains more melatonin than sleep essence. It boosts and strengthens the immune system. It supports healthy bones, hair, and skin. It promotes colon health, and it's a powerful preventative for premature aging, cardiovascular disease, male and female sexual dysfunction, menopausal problems, and skin disorders. Take 1 tablet before retiring, and if you're under a lot of undue stress, take 2 to 4 tablets before retiring because your immune system is being stressed. Cedarwood and sandalwood are also really great single oils to be diffusing as you're taking your progesterone and your clary sage at night. It stimulates the melatonin production naturally in the brain. It promotes relaxation, oxygenates, and stimulates the pineal and pituitary glands in the brain. And you want to directly inhale this or diffuse it. These are 2 great options to diffuse in your diffuser every single night. DHEA is your vibrant health hormone, and it is the most common hormone in the body. However, DHEA production falls dramatically during menopause and postmenopausal times. It's produced both by male and female hormones. It balances cortisol levels. It retards premature aging, builds lean muscle tissue, blocks fat tissue and cancer cells. It protects against degenerative disease, improves memory, normalizes weight, improves sex life, and boosts energy. So where do you get DHEA? You get it in our Prenolone Plus. And I would recommend every woman be taking this as well, especially if you're progesterone deficient, because Progestins Plus will help with this, but it doesn't have the DHEA. And Prenolone is a great cream. So it's for insufficient testosterone levels. Men can use Prenolone Plus as well. It's good for insufficient DHEA levels. If you are deficient in both testosterone and in progesterone, you want to be taking Prenolone Plus. And again, one of the ways that you're going to find that out is by getting a hormone panel done. Or getting a Zyto and having your hormones done specifically. That Zyto will cost $60. I think it's $60 from Pam Hyen, and it's $75 from Dana Christensen. This boosts levels of estrogen and progesterone in both men and women. Massage a quarter to a half a teaspoon into soft tissue areas like under the arms, the thighs, the abdomen, the neck, etc., and rotate site of application and apply for 3 weeks out of the month. Especially if you are premenopausal or you're still in a cycle. If you're still having a menstrual cycle, you want to stop for a month during your cycle, or a week during your cycle. Prenolone Plus testimonial. This is by Shauna Daystrup, and I knew Shauna many years ago. And she used to suffer from hot flashes, and she tried all of Young Living products, including the old Estro. We have Estro now in a tincture. Nothing seemed to stop them completely. I ordered the Prenolone Plus, and when it came out for her a couple of years back, and have been using this product ever since. No more hot flashes. You're going to have the same results with Progestins Plus. She also uses Endoflex on her ankles. This is another thing that will help postmenopausal or menopausal symptoms. Endoflex. Since I had a hysterectomy 28 years ago, I do not follow the 21 days on and 7 days off. I just use it every day. And Gary has truly come up with a product I needed. Prenolone Plus. Another product that we recommend is PD8020. This is higher milligrams of progesterone or pregnenolone, which is actually the precursor to the body making its own progesterone. This also contains DHEA, so this is a way that you can get DHEA. Start with 1 capsule a day and then increase to 2 capsules as needed. Men and women over 40 should be taking additional progesterone or pregnenolone, again, the precursor. It helps with the prevention of premature aging, maintains adequate hormone reserves for sustaining health and preventing premature aging. Natural all-over hormone support. PD8020. Endogize, another one that we take every day, contains DHEA, especially formulated to support and maintain healthy, balanced endocrine system. Take 1 capsule twice daily for 4 weeks, discontinue for 2 weeks, and then resume again. Cortisol, this is the stress hormone, or Gary used to call it the death hormone. It's important for normal function of the brain, immune system, muscle tone, and strength, for blood circulation, and for sugar levels. High cortisol symptoms are obesity, rapid weight gain, blood sugar imbalances, and high blood pressure. Low cortisol symptoms are adrenal exhaustion, cardiac arrest, low sex drive, depression, increased blood pressure, decreased thyroid function, muscle wasting, mental fatigue, chronic fatigue, and a lower immune resistance. Recommended is Cortistop. estrogen dominance to counter rising cortisol levels. Use this in conjunction with Prenolone Plus, the cream, and or Progestins Plus. Remember, I said every woman from the age of 12 to 112 should be using Progestins Plus. I don't care where your hormones are. Because of the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the food that we eat, we need Progestins Plus every day. Supports female glandular system and balances cortisol projection. Take 1 capsule before breakfast, another before bedtime, and use daily for 8 weeks, and then discontinue for a couple of weeks, and then resume it. So it just helps to balance everything out. So I think we're going to get into, let's see, I'm just going forward a little bit. Yeah. I think I've been going for an hour. Page up. Do we want to continue tonight or do we want to stop? Give me a thumbs up, everybody, or hit the thumb up if you want to continue, and let me see what the majority of you say. We only have about 6 slides. Okay, Stephanie says okay. Julie says okay.
Okay for Melanie.
Okay, April says okay. So I guess we're gonna go a little bit
Okay,
longer.
Loretta.
Yeah. All right. We'll continue.
Will you have a little bit of time for questions?
I will. I'll make sure that we have time for questions. And
Okay,
I should know whether those questions will be answered next week, because this is 2 parts. It's so in depth that, yeah. So we'll just finish up with these last 6 slides, and then we'll open it up for questions. All right, so male and female hormones. Female ovaries produce eggs, which are called ova, and female hormones, and they regulate the menstrual cycle and pregnancy. The male testes produce and store sperm, but they're also the main source of male hormones. Okay, so let's talk about signs of menopause. There's perimenopause. I remember when I was going through that in my 40s, mid to late 40s, I started perimenopause. This means around menopause. It occurs years before menopause actually begins. It can last for 4 to 5 years, though that varies, and that's about what it did for me. It lasted about 4 or 5 years. I think I started at about 47, and by 53, I went into full-blown menopause. During perimenopause, you're going to experience hot flashes. You're going to have sleep disturbances, possibly, and mood swings if your hormones are out of balance. It's still possible to conceive a child during perimenopause, so be careful. Still use some type of preventative contraceptive if you are not wanting children, you know, late in life. It ends a year after your final period. That's the official start of menopause. So the official start of menopause is 1 whole year after your last period. And so, you know, those years, those 4 or 5 years, you may have a period, then you don't have one for 3 or 4 months, then you have another one, or you might have, you know, 2 in a month, because your hormones are fluctuating, and that's what causes that. You don't necessarily need to go in for a D&C. Just begin using products that will start to balance your hormones out a little bit. Common signs and symptoms associated with menopause are, and this is what I was talking about, irregular menstrual periods, hot flashes and night sweats, vaginal dryness, sleep problems. Vaginal dryness is directly related to lack of estrogen. Sleep problems, mood swings, increased fat around the abdomen, thinning hair, decreased breast fullness. Now, with using Progestins Plus, you'll get that fluffy breast back. And within the first couple of days, that fullness in the breast will come back, because that is a lack of progesterone. Post-menopause, the years after reaching menopause, where the ovaries no longer release eggs and the production of sex hormones sharply declines. Two oils that I recommend are clary sage and sage because they have estrogen-like activity that effectively combats PMS and menopausal symptoms. So if you are having severe PMS during your before your period, you better be using clary sage or dragon thyme. Those two, because dragon thyme, and I'm talking specifically for PMS now, I don't use dragon thyme in conjunction with menopause. Dragon thyme is for PMS specifically. You have teenagers that are going through severe mood swings, PMS, cranky attitude, dragon thyme. Diffuse it around them in the morning as they're getting ready for their day. Make sure that there's a dragon thyme bath gel. Bath gel that you can get. But clary sage is in dragon thyme. So apply on the VitaFlex points. Look in your essential oils desk reference for those VitaFlex points. You're going to find them for females. They're on the inside of the ankle. Take as a dietary supplement if you choose to. I don't. I put them on. I put a roller ball on my clary sage and I roll it around my ankle every night before I go to bed. So those are the two oils that are by my bedside: Progestins Plus and clary sage. Use 6 to 8 drops of clary sage on the lower back during PMS, or dragon thyme on the back during PMS. These two oils were studied for the efficacy of the treatment of hot flashes in 30 menopausal women with hot flash symptoms. These work incredibly well, incredibly well. I should never hear anybody having hot flashes or PMS symptoms if they've been using the oils. Recommended for PMS, menopause, menstrual cramping, and balancing emotions and perimenopause is estro. Please take note of what I'm going to say from this slide. This is an all-natural herbal tincture, by the way, and it is available through Young Living. Start with 1 dropper 2 to 3 times daily, and increase as needed as much as 8 droppers daily. May take as long as 4 weeks to reach the maximum effectiveness. But Dr. Purser states that 98% of the women who have not had problems with Progestins Plus, and the 2% that do, need to balance Progestins Plus with Femagen, which is another Young Living product, or Estro, as you are very, very low on estrogen. So if you have any issues with Progestins Plus, then you need to be adding Femagen, 2 a day, or Estro to balance that out, okay? I know this is a lot of information, but study too. Do a lot of study. Dr. Purser has some great hormone books out that you can get from Amazon. This is one of those subjects that it's very difficult to teach yourself, but through diligence and study and, listening to classes like this about hormones, reading your essential oils desk reference, it will help you. Here's a testimonial by Dawn from Wisconsin. She says, using the essential oils desk reference, I was able to discover that clary sage and geranium, and she is so right about this geranium, are 2 helpful oils for hormone regulation. I use a blend of 4 parts of clary sage to 2 parts of geranium and 2 parts of carrier oil for relief of hot flashes. Now, I believe it's either Lady Scleral or Sclare Essence. They both have clary sage in them, and I believe they both have geranium in them because of exactly what Dawn is stating here. They're extremely helpful for hormone regulation. While they are not completely eliminated for her, she doesn't suffer from night sweats at all and very few hot flashes, and the ones that she gets are very manageable. I apply the blend to the area inside of the ankles. This is the VitaFlex point I was talking to you about earlier. And I've given this blend to several other women who have also gotten relief. One co-worker wasn't sleeping because of the night sweats and found immediate relief. So there you go, a great testimonial. Essential oils and hormones. Clinical studies conducted at Pisa University in 2002 and the University of Bradford in the United Kingdom have shown that topical hormone creams with essential oils like Prenolone Plus have a greater ability to penetrate through the skin and enter into the blood much more quickly than those that do not have essential oils. Essential oils are imperative and they are a must for hormone regulation. And here's that Progestins Plus I've been talking to you about all night. It is recommended for estrogen dominance, menopausal symptoms, PMS symptoms. If you have teenage women in your home and they are PMSing like crazy, roll some of this Progestins Plus on their carotid artery that's right down from the earlobe to the shoulder or on the back of their neck, and they will probably say, Mom, I think I'm going to go take a quick nap. Progestins Plus will help them to calm down. It will help them to go take a rest, and it will help balance their hormones. That's why I recommend that you take Progestins Plus before going to bed at night, because it will help you to rest. It's also great if you've had a hysterectomy and if you have been diagnosed or want to prevent. It's a #1 prevention for osteoporosis. Probably #2, because #1 prevention, I would recommend Mega Cal or Super Cal Plus. This is a micronized progesterone that has been studied for over 12 years. It seems to cause cancer cells to pop, and it assists in preventing cancer by not allowing estrogen to be dominant in the body. It also tends to clean out cancer-causing xenoestrogens. This is a direct quote from Dr. Dan Purser, who is an MD and has done extensive research in the area of endocrinology. Rub 1 or 2 drops over the carotid artery and or the wrists. That's why I like to put a roller ball on it. Progestins Plus will help with polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS. It will help diminish or shrink fibroids. It will help the reversal of endometriosis. I'm stating that very emphatically because I've seen it over and over and over again. Here are some testimonials. I have been suffering from symptoms of menopause for many years, and when I went to the Young Living Convention last year, I purchased the Progestins Plus and began using it. Within 3 weeks, all of the night sweats, hot flashes, mood swings, and low libido that I had been experiencing completely disappeared. What a new lease on life. Every woman in the world should have a bottle, in my opinion. The world would be a lot happier place. Once I turned 50, I began having hot flashes, trouble sleeping, and mood swings. I have now been using Young Living's Progestins Plus serum since it was introduced at 2010 convention, and I am sleeping better. Mood swings are under control, and my hot flashes are few and far between. So easy to use, and just 2 drops daily work for me. So these gals who have seemingly gotten their hot flashes somewhat under control, but not completely, these are the women that I would say make sure that you're using the clary sage, maybe add some geranium to it, but add the Prenolone to it as well. All right, that's the end of part 1. So we went 1 hour and 14 minutes, which isn't too bad. I went longer than that. And I'm going to quickly look at the chat and see if we have any questions in the chat first. I've been taking 3 drops of Juvaflex every day. I've seen great changes. Haven't tried Juva Cleanse. Hey, if Juvaflex works for you, Eileen, keep using it. Does the Juva Cleanse come in capsules? No, you're putting it in capsules, Janet. And thank you, Gail, for answering that question. I'd like more information on the cleanse you're doing. Okay, I'll send that to you, Eileen. Should we be taking all of these supplements? I have. Yeah. What if you had a hysterectomy? Well, I addressed that probably after you asked that question, Stephanie. I use Dragon Time. Let's see. Progestin Plus hits me like a freight train and knocks me out. So she takes it at night, I hope. And you might want to balance it with some estro. I use Progestin Plus twice daily and Dragon Time during monthly visits. Very good. For cortisol, should it be used for low cortisol? No, only high, Julie. Okay. Anybody want to unmute themselves and ask me a question? We probably should stop the recording.